Hello and welcome. I want to talk in this video about the origins of my trading. And we will start back in 2008. We will conclude in 2017, which will be the origins of crypto trading. And that will be what this video will be about. Just going over some of the experiences. We'll start off just looking at the SPY on the 1 hour term time frame. It's doing its thing. I don't think I ever traded this coin. I can't remember if I even had access to do it. It was on one of the Canadian bank trading sites. I think it was like $10 a trade, 10 or 12. It wasn't 20. My first trade was $20 a trade, or 20. It might have been 20, because I think it might have been 29 on my first trade. I can't remember those exact details, but those trading fees were expensive, and well, I knew that back then. The first market I traded was a ETF, and I know it's gotten its ass kicked. It's been split most likely multiple times over. And it's the HFD. Let's take a look at this gem. 470. It was a lot higher than. Oh man, what was the price when I got at it? I can't remember if it was 20 or 16, and I'm not going to find out from this because of all the splits. But regardless, let's take a look at this. Scroll as much of it as. I'm just going to pause and scroll to the maximum. And we can see how much it's 25 down to 470. Let's just move all of this over, load new data. And there we have the highs and the lows. Okay. Let's go back to the event. And I didn't hit this high. I should have. Didn't. I was not trading at that time. At least not the market. Alrighty then. So, back in here, I only made a couple trades. First one was, I'm guessing it was in here. Somewhere in here. I ended up buying this fund. I don't know what day, somewhere when it was lower in here. I ended up selling this peak. Then I bought it back on somewhere, another again, below here somewhere. And then I sold on October 10th on the open. Because that was a day when the stock market, and I'll show you what the stock market looked like. It was, because this is the reverse of the financials. So it's a short ETF. And as we can see here, this thing was just hanging in there. Then this day was like, oh wow, it's up nice. And then got my gains in here, nice up day. This day was just fantastic. I almost did sell on that day at the end. I probably should have when I look at these numbers. Like, oh my goodness, what's the difference between 125 and 144? But that's the stock market for you, I suppose. Wow, low volatility. Oh my goodness, are you for real? It was that bad? I thought I had better gains than that. Well, if that's what it was, that's what it was. Uh, I mean, I hit the top, and I mean, I literally would have hit the. I sold this at 9:45 a.m. I can remember, and let's take a look at the Dow Jones on then. That I don't know if I can. I can't show you that day. I don't know where my photos for that would be, but anyway, let's take it. Well, basically, the market opened at like 8,000 area. Like that was the target. I was like, oh my goodness, and then it might have went to 78 at that intraday. And then after that, like at say 10:30, after 9:45 when I sold, it was like already like 8,400, 8,500. Then the Dow goes up to like 88, back down to like 8,300 or whatever, 8,200, and then back up to 8,800 or so to close the day. The next day it goes to 10,000. It was sick. And the next day was like a Monday. I think this was a Friday. Yep, I was right. See, 10 to 14. My memory for some events are pretty good. And why I probably should have stayed in is because I should have bought back at any of these times. And I guess knowing what I know now, I would have. I mean, this would have been fun to swing trade for sure, based on the volatility I knew then. Meaning, wow, this just went up 30%. Yeah, yay. Okay, well, that was big back then, I suppose, because Yeah, this man, my I can feel how my mindset was like. That was big volatility back then. That is so crazy. I mean, technical analysis. I knew this back then to go long on the breakout here, and there was that move. But the thing is I was switching accounts to the lower rake, and I didn't get that account in place until probably even into here. I can't remember when. And I think I got into this a couple of times, but I no longer was doing the long term trading. I was literally doing extreme day trading instead, where holding something for more than 2 hours was a long period of time. It was sick. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. 4, 6, 8 hours. And the way I was looking at it was, okay, well, I guess I need to have at least about 5 grand, given if I'm going to be paying like this amount on a trade and all this type of stuff. And well, what would happen was whatever bull trap I could find, I found. I think over my first 10, 12 trades, I had a couple nice ones here and there. I had a good trade once on oil. I had a good short on something. I had a good long trade on silver wheaton. I can't even remember its code number. Okay, silver wheaton. I don't even know what its code was. But a lot of what happened is go long, and then I would see that I would, okay, it's doing this, and okay, this isn't looking right. Oh man, this isn't looking good. Oh well, fast move, I'm out, stop. Okay, 2.5% loss there, or whatever it was. 1.5% loss, and it was just grinding the account lower when I was getting a failed move, and then it was like 4, 5, 6 different ways. So I was able to do pretty good then in understanding what they were looking at because of the moves that they were making. And after a while, I'm like, screw this, I'm getting out. I didn't play anymore. And then, of course, withdrawing what was remaining. After all, I mean, you really can't go to zero because of the fact that, well, I mean, at some point, I mean, you need a minimum amount just to cover the trade cost, and I knew that from day one. I'd play little games here and there. A lot of times, casino style games that involved the market here and there. Sometimes I did good. Sometimes I just got too into my gambling style. And with that being said, it was all about, oh man, these were just bad bets. Uh, yeah, they had some good aggressive meaning to it, and the setup was fine. But then when you look back at some of the rake and everything, and yeah, so places like Party Poker was a place. Oh, they have other games. You can bet the silver and gold market and the S&P market and the oil market. You can choose on 5 minutes what the close will be. So it worked out like something like. Let me just get a better market for the now. Uh, I mean, let's do the SPY because that's what they had. And you could do so many different ways. So let's take a look at the 1 minute time frame. And they had tick by tick because of this. But basically, the way this would work is at every 0 and 5 minute period, you would bet what the price would be at. So you would be like, okay, so it open up now. So you could have a price close above 286.85 or below the current price, and you'd have like minus 120 odds or some rake. So you'd bet 12 to win 10. Then they'd have bets where it'd be like 286.74. They're going to give you like plus 180. And then way down here, you're going to get like plus 400, plus 500, some sick odds. And what would happen is I think those lines would move up and down within the market, so they'd always come into play. And then it was variable set. I think for the last few seconds, there's no trading in the last 30 seconds of the move on the market, and that's how it went. And then after the minute was over, you had your play graded, and you either won or you lost. And there was other time frames. You could do maybe a half an hour time frame. So on every 0 and 30, they would do it. So what would happen here is a new game would start. So at 10 o'clock, let's try to find where that would be at. Okay, so it would have started here. So what I would have done, let me just put a line in here. So this is how I would have played. Let's just take a look. What would have I seen at the time? I think is very important because I want to be real on this. Okay. I would have looked at this and I would have think, okay, so knowing what I know now for the market, playing like I would have played the market, I would have a little bit of optimism, but I know breaking out is just breaking out above it. It's still at a high price. I would be looking to buy a 286.16 area right now. So I would probably put a line right in here to tell me that's the buy zone. So I look at this on the next period. So there we go. So at this point, I would be making bets for the higher prices. I'd be taking maybe at a 286.84. Maybe I'd be taking whatever prices were above it. And then minutes would go by. I'd look in. Oh, I'm buying more. So I'd add to my position size and play some more. And I wouldn't do much. Now at this stage here, I might start to hedge my bets. In that, I'm going to bet that it's going to go down. But I mean, I do a lot of, not only would I be doing a lot of the bets of like minus 120s, so I know I'd get middle positions is what I was trying to do. So I was already going, say, okay, I'm betting for a close above, a close above 285.92, a close above 285.72. Now I'm doing a close below 286.68. Make that bet. Time would go on. And I make some more bets here. I bet that it's going to go lower, so it's going to go under 287.12, and then I take the fancy bets here. Oh, I can take a bet here at 286.63 at like say 2.5 to 1 odds or whatever these ones. I would take these ones at that point. When I had the good games, I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to bet this, and then the markets would move, and here we have it, and okay, and then I'd be like, okay, so now my hedges would lose. I got some of my profits, and it's a new minute. And then they had the ones for the entire day. And they would close, and then I was looking at the stock market was closed at 4, and the silver market and gold markets, I think, closed at either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And I'd play a lot of those. That's the analysis I was looking at a lot of time was the silver and gold markets anyway. And I would do that, and some days I did very, very well. I had times where I built my bankroll, and really well. And sometimes I built my bankroll very well from poker, and then I lost a good amount of it playing that game as well. Now let's fast forward to February of 2017. And I was able to receive a nice gift in Bitcoin from somebody anonymous. And he sent a message stating to, hey, give Poloniex a shot. You might like it. And I read it. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know what, I probably should. And thank you all for the donation and the gift. Thank you. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to look. But 6, 7, 8, 9 days even went by. And I'm like, yeah, I got to look. And then finally I look at it. The day of, I start trading on that site. I take a look at, I view around the site, and I'm looking at everything in the markets, and I'm thinking, wow, okay. I mean, yeah, I should have looked at this days ago, I was thinking. And technically, maybe I should have looked at it. It was better that I looked at it then, because I literally was like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days away from the bottom of the altcoin market. So, I mean, it was good timing, lucky timing, and that happens. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. But don't tell me you were unlucky when you were buying Bitcoin in November of 2017, December, January, and all those coins, and then you got unlucky because technically speaking, it was so expensive that as the markets were going in, scaling in really was the play. Then you can say I got unlucky that it took a long time, and I started buying when it went down to like 8,000 and 10,000. Okay, I'll give you that. But even then, you had to have been ready and scaling in anyway, and you're looking probably pretty much better now on that. But anyway, what I want to do for this is go back to when I started, because this was an interesting coin. Now, the coin I really would have liked to shown was Bella, but it got delisted. I got in, I got out, I got amazing profits on that one from the get-go. The first real coin based on my bankroll that I played very aggressively worked out. Now, it worked out that this was probably, I don't know if this was my next second aggressive one, because this was one that I was day trading, obvious, like in big time levels. And uh, I guess I can't do it. I wanted to take a look at what the 15 and hourly time frames looked back then, because it was so iconically amazing. Nothing like it would be today. But this was a very new one when it came out. In fact, I can't get it to look fine on the 18 until here. So during this time, but anyway, during this time I was playing this over and over. So what was happening within this market is, if we take a look at before the event of this big move took place, in here, look at an intraday move. It says low 1800, high 2263. That was a differential of 463 points. Now, what I figured out with this coin was something amazing. And the volatility was there, but what I was seeing was on the bid-ask order, something very, very interesting. And I'm just going to hide the volume. That's what I'm trying to do. Just give myself some drawing space. Okay. So what I would see is stuff like well, back in, say the price was 1850, whatever. So 1850 might have been, that doesn't look like it. I should have put 1810 or 1815, we'll say. Say this was one price. That was the, and then 1865, maybe. They were literally like this, but it was moving interesting, and maybe it was even a gap of 1845. But what I was doing was picking away at both sides of the fence. So I end up I'd put a sell order in at, say, 1864, 1862. Or even better, I would look back, and let's just say this was 1845. I can't even draw. I mean, now that looks so bad. Let me just use paint. And what I was doing was, okay, well, why don't I just, like, say, for example, I was going down in here, and 1821 was a big buy order. Okay, let's go 1822. And then 20 minutes I hit, okay. So then let's, and at the time, maybe the markets would adjust carefully. So let's put an order in for, like, say, 1857, 1858. Sell. 5 minutes later, it sells. I had some of the situations where I'd buy and sell back and forth like maybe 8, 9, 10 times in a 20-minute loop. It got sick a couple times. Now I was making small gains, but over and over and over again, and some of them were pretty decent. I was getting some good 6, 7, 8, 9% gains here and there. Also, meanwhile, getting the fact that when the bull market run came, as we've seen in here, it was just a matter of selling at the top ends and doing the normal buy low, sell high. And for me, it came, and then this happened. This was one of the most sickest events in my early trading days. Because you literally knew better, and you literally did that strategy, but not with this. But you knew, but on the date of March the 30th, 2017, my biggest holdings would have been Bella, not counting Bitcoin, of course. Bella. After Bella, maybe PivX now, possibly. Yeah, PivX. Yeah, PivX most certainly. Yeah, PivX most certainly is one of them. But another one, at least that was on Bittrex at the time. And anyway, and the only thing I played on Bittrex then was PivX. But I had this one, and it was a good value because of all the trading and moving I was doing. It was doing pretty good. Maybe Dash might have been worth more, and maybe Ethereum. Either way, if it wasn't worth more, it was worth about the same. It was up there as second best on not counting Bitcoin on Poloniex. And really, I don't know how much Bitcoin I had then because I also had Bitcoin on Bittrex at the time. And I also had it on Coinbase. I don't have it on Coinbase now. Haven't for a long, long time. But anyway, on this day, well, you can see if you look at the number, the highest 20,000, the lowest 6,000, the close is 8,000. I mean, hours before the event was when I was thinking about insane sell orders. Insane sell orders. Just get them there, man. Do every single one. And, well, what I did on Bella, about, oh, I don't know, maybe 6 hours before this happened, 7 hours, I took all, I mean, maybe Bella was trading it. We'll say Bella was, I don't know, we'll say it already had topped at this point. Bella had already topped, so it already went up from 6,500. So maybe it was like 4,000 or whatever. Let's just say it was 4,000. That means I put a sell order in for like 6,000, 8,000, 12,000, 16,000. Just keep on going those loops higher, incrementally higher. Especially because I'm a 4%, 6% player at this time. And I did that. And then I was thinking, yeah, I should probably be doing this with GNT as well. Nah, I didn't do it. And then it happened. I'm like, holy. I'm like, and because it's not like it's something that you wouldn't have done, obviously. But when you were literally thinking about that exact event and it happened, I mean, the net result would have been sell, sell, sell. My bankroll probably today, if I would have done that, would be probably 20, 30% higher, maybe. I don't know, 5, 10% higher, because I would have had more to work with from March 31st on. That really would have came down to. That's the only reason why. So be it. It is as it is within it. But the reason why I was trading like this was because I would have been trading this. What was my first day of trading? Like around here, February 24th, and I was trading gold on those days too. I can remember it was one of my early trades as well. But what happened was I'll do paint to show it because I really can't show it via charts. And after the first night I traded and seen everything, just a little bit, just got the idea of it. The next day I'm like, okay, this is a full day of trading now. Trading like it's 2009, looking for the shortest term plays possible. Loving how cheap the rake and minimum bet, how low it is. Because I'm at the pace where I can, especially on Poloniex, it's super cheap on that site. But even back at the $1,200 Bitcoin prices, they were a minimum bet. It's okay. I spelled that wrong. I typed it fast. I only paused the tape for about 90 seconds writing this in. But anyway, making many good trades early on and have increased my bankroll by more than 3 to 4% in the first few hours. Buying this, oh, it's up 6%, 5%, or 4.5% in 27 minutes. Sell everything. Okay, get into this. It's down. One of my trades I looked in, it was so cool. I mean, I'm not gonna load it up. It would take too long. Not that long, but what happened was I think it might have been Bella, and it might have been the first couple trades. I bought it. I then sold it for about a 1 or 2% loss. I then bought it back about 7% cheaper. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I seen something to get out, and I was right. Don't know what it was back then, but things were going good on the early stages. And again, like I said, it was up by more than 3-4%. Then dinner time comes. Maybe it's 7:30, 8 o'clock at night now, and my portfolio is down 2%, all time low. I go to cash. I got to cash. I go to cash. Yeah, I typed it fast. Going to cash means you're just in your base currency position. So I have all Bitcoin on Poloniex at this time, and I have a sleepless night because I think to myself about the market. I'm thinking, well, if you just mathematically, because I got my mathematical brains doing things on me, if you sell it at this and then buy it back and then just keep on doing it, That's probably going to be a decent edge, is it not? And I just keep on thinking about that all night, different things in my head, looking back at past markets, and then later on, and I think I don't know if it was if I was looking at it. Now think that whole day I was just looking at all these other markets in the past, the gold, the stock markets, everything. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, this just seems so obvious. Now, I really don't have much of an idea on how I'm going to do this other than the very, very basics. And over the several months and years, I have really transitioned into a way that I like it now. And that's why, from that point on, I pretty much used that with the Bella strategy. And then that other one where I put sell orders in, but it was at the point where it was like, okay, I buy Bella at, say, I can't remember what the price. I think it was like 2,700 when I started. So now let's put sell orders in for 2760, 2772, 2785, literally. Oh, the 2760 sell order hits. Let's buy it back at 2700. I was literally playing that short term and getting like 40, 50 trades a day, 60 trades a day. I wouldn't want to do that anymore. I really, really, really don't even want to do that. And I was using that simple method from the get go, and it worked out well. So, pretty much from that point on, the rest is pretty much history. I've only ever made about maybe 8, 9, 10 trades of that liking where I'm just gonna go for a short-term position because now there's only one way I pretty much play a short-term position, and that's just assume I want to send coins from one exchange to another, and that's how I'll do it. I'll buy one coin on one exchange, move it to the other one, meaning I'm forced to hold on to that coin for a period of time, 20 minutes, half hour, hour, 4 hours maybe, what have it. And then I make the trade. But I'm going to want to do this on coins, I think, that are like not going to go down or at least have some positive performance over the next like little bit. Just like when I was mentioning that game where you bet what it's going to be like so many hours from now. It's exactly the same sort of thinking on that. So I hope this has helped out with just trader thinking ideology because I thought maybe it was a good time to put this video out because I know a lot of people are definitely in similar votes. Again, I come in from a gambling background, and of course, anyone who watches my videos should be well familiar that that has always and pretty much always will be a part of my life. As long as there's an economic monetary system and there's gambling involved, I'm going to be one trying to find a way where I can put the advantage on my side. Because if you come to me and you got a legitimate coin flip and you're going to give me 95 cents for a dollar that I bet, you got a small advantage. Why would I want to bet that? Or if you want to try to give me some good profit return on my odds, okay, I'm going to flip a card. If you can guess the ranking of the card, ace to king, I'm going to give you 10 to 1 odds. And if you want to guess the suit in the exact card, I'll give you 40 to 1 odds. Well, the odds again are in your favor. So, no, I don't want to do that. I remember one time, actually, this was, now that I think about this, this was an interesting spot because I never had many of these situations in my life where it came into play, where I was able to play a complete stranger, we call it, for a one-on-one card game for cash where I'll never see you again, and it worked out that way. And I'm trying to remember what the game was in my head now. I'm trying to think of the game. I don't think it was cribbage. It was a skill-based game. Spades? No, it's a four-player game. It wasn't spades. Was it gin rummy? Yes, it was gin rummy. This guy talked a big game. He talked a big, big, big game. This was going back to, let's see, when was this? 2006, maybe? 2006? He talked a big game. I'm damn good at that game, by the way. So I'm like, okay, you want to play me? Okay, let's play. This is one of my friends, we'll call it. And it literally was. It literally was. He's like, because he's the one telling me, yeah, he likes gin rummy, whatever. He set the whole thing up. I played the guy, and I did well. I did well, but I'm just thinking to myself, this has got to be the worst gin rummy player that I've ever seen in my life. And One of the things was, now I can remember, gin. It's gin, just regular gin. It wasn't gin rummy, it was regular gin. That's a game you probably would understand more. So let me just say that the one I noticed maybe, it might have been like 5 or 6 plays into it. Or maybe the first game, he passed on like an ace or a two early in the game. So I would have been like, no, maybe later in the game he done that. But that was like a huge mistake in the game. Is passing on I mean, aces and twos in that game is so amazing. And he let those cards go. But literally, it was like I beat him bad. And it was because I was a much more superior player and I had a huge advantage. Playing at the poker table, I knew every single time that I sat down that I was probably better than every single player at the table. And if I wasn't, then who are you? And maybe there might have been another. And there were a few tables where I did see some decent players, but even then, I'm like, damn, I'm good too, though. So if you think you're better than me, there's a damn good chance I might only slightly be better than you. But that always meant that I had to bring my A game. And I pretty much did. And I'm going to finish off with one more quick story about how I brought my A game to the table on 2 different occasions. And I mean, a flopped set math is easy. 50 divided by 48, multiply 49 divided by 47, multiply 48 divided by 46, and to simplify that, 50 multiply 49 divided by 47 divided by 46 equals 1.1132. That's the odds of not hitting a set. So if you look at the math on it on a logical standpoint, you started with 52 cards, but you know there's 50 remaining. So the first card that comes up on the flop, there are 48 cards that will not give you the set, and there are 50 cards in total. So the chances you don't get it the first time is 50 and 48. And if that's the case, with the chances of not getting it the second time, you subtract 1, so 49, and so on. And you do those 3 numbers, you get 1.1132, and if you 1x that, that means 88.24. So you have an 88.24% chance of not flopping a set every single time you play, which in turn means it's 11.76 that you will. If you 1x that, you get 8.5, which means every 8.5 times that you are going to go to a flop holding a pocket pair in your hand, you're going to hit that card at least once. And that means 2 and 17. So that number has stuck in my head since pretty much day one of me doing mathematical calculations, because that was just an easy number to remember as it was. So on a particular Thursday, my bus arrives to Casino-Rama, which is located in what I call Northern Ontario, but it's most certainly Southern Ontario by far. It's such a big province. And I did well that day, on the Thursday. Now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, not so much. I'm probably down a little bit. In fact, I did not flop one set. So I'm just going through my head. It's like, what's going on? How do I keep on not getting it over and over and over to the flop? Miss, 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 miss. And I'm pretty sure my flush draws and straight draws probably weren't hitting as well, though I can't remember. They might not have done so bad because I wasn't losing a lot, because my second story was when I was. And then the Monday. This is the last day. I'm leaving this day. The tournament's on Monday. It's a $300 buy-in. And I've played the $300 game at Casino-Rama 3 times. I've yet to win a hand, literally. But on this particular tournament, I tilted off. It was maybe 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in, maybe an hour, I don't know. And I'm looking down at pocket queens. Now, this was an interesting hand because there was no way I should have even put a single chip into this pot. As early on, somebody put in a decent sized raise and just talking up a frickin' storm. Literally, I mean, this is one of the hands where someone should have called a clock on me. They never did. I probably spent 3 to 4 minutes deciding what I was going to do with these queens. And I can remember the last thought that came to my head. Basically 2 things. Number 1, and I'm going to guess 2 people. One I know is weak. One I think is damn strong. But how strong? And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I haven't flopped a set since Thursday. I mean, if I'm up against those kings or aces, I'm gonna get that queen, which is loser talk, by the way. And I'm like, okay. And then I think to myself, it's queens though. I mean, I'm not gonna look like a big idiot. And I'd say, and then call. Boom, I call. I'm up against some whatever weird, like I don't know, some sort of like ace seven or ace ten, and I'm up against pocket kings, and pocket kings win the hand. So that was one way of tilting, but so be it. And then later on, the next tournament, I made a bad mistake again, and that's the one I'll talk about, not the other one. It's early in the tournament. I don't know, hand number 12, 15, something of that nature. I pretty much have most of my starting stack. And again, I've never ever won a hand in this tournament. Early position, pre-flop, min raises. The cutoff calls, so I looked out at ace 10 suited. And because the blinds are early, I mean, my only other play, it's either call or go all in. There is no other play. There's no way I'm putting a normal raise in. I'm just going to call. I hate my position. If I feel my hand is good, and the math is right, and or the math is right, then I would put the all in. And with an ace 10, I might have, but I wasn't too sure about the early position raiser. Because it was only a 10, so I decided just flat call. And because the blinds were early, I'm not getting much of return on my odds, so I really have to be confident in my hand. Like an ace king suited, I don't want to give too much of my strategy, but I don't play much anymore. I probably would do a sick all in there with an ace king. But anyway, the flop comes in, and it comes 10 10 4. So I have trips with top kicker, so I like the hand. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at the two players, and I don't look at the flop. I'm right now at this time of the game. I have no idea the flop is 10 10 4. I'm looking at these two players, trying to get reads for how the flop helped them. I'm trying to get reads for what I think they're trying to do if they're on the bet or the check side. And I'm really most focused on the original raiser. But yeah, I was checking both players, and my read, from what I can remember, was that, yeah, I think that the original raiser is going to bet. So I decided to check. I can't remember if I was going to check raise or not. I can't remember if the board was in a flush draw. I don't think it was. If it was, it wasn't on the turn. At least I would have remembered if it was. And but anyway, I checked on both other players. I'm like, shit, that sucks. Anyway, I'm still happy because I like my hand, and I mean it's 10 10 4. Not like there's a straight draw. 6 comes in. Okay, that's a safe card. Time to look again. And I noticed that this person who bet out, I thought, yeah, he's going to bet. So the first person does bet. He bets small. And I'm thinking, yes, right on. He's betting. This is awesome. And then, to my surprise, a person in the cutoff places a standard raise. So now I know immediately. Okay, I'm not concerned at all about this first person. Do you really have pocket fours or pocket sixes? Is what I'm thinking. I'm going through the range of hands. How about 10 jack? Are you playing a 10 jack suited on me? A 10 9 suited on me? I mean, that's in there as well, too. 10 king? I mean, those are the hands I beat that I can beat. That's going through my head. Oh, I don't like this. This person, I mean, he's not easy to read. I mean, he's a standard person. He's not like the other guy who's like, can tell he's more maniac style. And we're going to overvalue their hands. This person might have some smarts to him. And this is someone, this is a serious spot. I might want to fold here, I'm thinking. Well, I got two plays. It's either all in or fold. So now I got to decide what to do. Alrighty, I'm all in. Call. Well, fold call. And then, of course, again, I'm thinking, shit, you got sixes or fours. And then I see pocket sixes. Okay, give me an ace, 10, or 4. Didn't get it. Albeit it was a profitable day that time. Because after losing $300 on that tournament, I put $500 onto the cash game, and I walked out of that cash game with $1,300. So I made $500 that particular day. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.